Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey Jason, John Pauline, the out of breath Ben Mandel. We're running to grab a drink.
Just ran a marathon.
Just got back right before I hit record, coinciding between the wait, don't go, and the recording button being pressed. Not enough to stop this train. But guys, May, second full season of the baseball season. It's time to really start to figure out what teams are good, what teams aren't. Last year we saw teams like the Pirates start off hot and then falter once that second month hit. Are the A's in that category? Are the A's going to be a team that fall? We'll see. But I want to start off right now. Trey Turner, Phillies icon. He's going to be out about 6 weeks with a hamstring. John, I really want to know, though, how you think the Phillies are going to be able to deal with this. This is a big blow.
I mean, it's a huge blow, especially because of how hot of a start he's had. I mean, comparable to last year, how slow he got off, and it took him almost the whole year to get going. And this year, he came out playing how I thought he was going to play last year, and he was just doing so good. I mean, and he hurt himself, and it was on a good play too. I mean, it was a wild pitch, and he turned it into a run. So I mean, great play. Just unfortunate he hurt his hammy there, but I mean. They're gonna miss him, but they're not gonna miss him. I mean, they just swept the Giants. I mean, they're still hidden. I mean, it's almost like you didn't even know he was missing. I mean,
who's his replacement?
I think right now, I mean, I don't know what they're doing because they seem kind of hot on Sosa, but I mean, Stott played shortstop in the minors there, but he's predominantly played. Second base in the majors, and I think he started at shortstop today, had one error, but made a fantastic catch run out on the outfield though. But I think because it's the footwork's different in from second to short, so it's a little bit of an adjustment. But Stott's a solid defender. I mean,
who do you prefer?
Who do I prefer? I mean, obviously you want Turner. There's been playing shortstop, longer and more. He's more used to it,
right? But Turner. On the injured list, who's your top pick to replace him right now?
I think you go with you. I think you have to. I think what you do with you either move Stott over and keep him there until Turner comes back and just have him play every day at short, or you keep Stott over at second and then you just put Sosa at short.
Now, how does Turner's injury affect the lineup? Because he's a pretty big part of the machine that the Phillies use to hit.
You move it. You're going to move a lot of guys around because especially Rob Thompson seems to like to keep the lineup pretty much the same. A lot of continuity throughout the year. I mean, you have fast guys on the roster that can kind of hit in that second spot and with the speed there. I mean, I think they you put JT up there because JT, I mean, for being a catcher, he's still pretty fast, can steal a base and stuff. And if you want, you have other guys. You can probably plug Stott up there if you want, but Stott hits better lower in the lineup. I mean, you have a lot of guys you can plug up in there. I mean, I'm sure they're probably gonna mix around, with experiment with some lineups there to see who fits there. But I mean, right now, I mean, JT batting second there with a little speed and stuff. Harper third, Bohm cleanup. I mean, I think it's not going to change too much.
Right. Well, just going on, the Twins, they had a 12-game winning streak snapped by the Red Sox. Both those teams playing pretty well. The Twins had a rough start to the year, but they've kind of really picked it up in a very weak AL Central. Aaron Judge, though, he got ejected for the first time in his career.
It was a weak
Is there
ejection.
something in the water that these umpires are drinking to either make them ridiculously mentally soft or just hate the Yankees? The umpire had a terrible zone all day. That's fine. That happens. It went both ways. Judge said, he struck out on a pitch that I do think clipped the zone and was a strike, but it was close.
It didn't light the K zone, and that's usually a tell for me.
Right.
It was close, but
it was close. I thought it clipped it, but it was very borderline regardless. Judge said this is BS, and then as he's walking away back to the umpire facing the dugout, he said, this is BS. You've been BS all day. And then the umpire said, you're not going to tell me I'm BS, and threw him out. by every definition of what constitutes a throwout, that checks none of the boxes. I'm surprised that we haven't heard much from Major League Baseball, given the Yankee manager gotten thrown out because of a fan yelling, and then you throw out one of the biggest stars in baseball for complaining when he wasn't even looking at you. He didn't go to yell at you. He was walking to the dugout. He did everything by the book.
Not even saying they're arguing with them.
He didn't show the umpire up. He didn't get in the umpire's face. He walked away. He walked away and said, this is BS. These players, and I'm sure we haven't even heard the most of it, say a lot worse to these umpires. In what world does that warrant a strikeout? And, we always say, star players shouldn't get a star treatment. So something like this, they should. Every single fan in that stadium is there to see Aaron Judge play. They're not there to see, Oswaldo Cabrera or Anthony Rizzo. As much
sure
as
hell are not there to see the umpire.
They're not there to see the umpire. And it's just embarrassing for that to have happened. What did you guys think of it when you saw it?
Look, it was one of those things where I kind of laugh about it because it's so ridiculous. And at what point did the umpire's skin get so thin? I mean, you look at what used to warrant an ejection.
Lou Piniella.
George Brett. Well, that was a little different, but still, these guys used to be running at umpires full force, ready to rip their heads off.
I mean, look at JT.
Now the umpires can't even let. Well, Corey's got a great point. Corey's got a great point, though. Aaron Judge did not look at the umpire when he said this. He did everything he was supposed to do by saying it as he's walking away, not because he's trying to be a coward about it, not because he doesn't want to, say it to the guy's face, but because he doesn't want to show him up, and that's what you're supposed to do. This is what catchers do the entire time. The rule of thumb is catchers and umpires talk the entire game through those masks, but you don't look at each other while you do it.
John Flaherty told a story. John Flaherty, longtime major leaguer, Yankee broadcaster, ex-Yankee, and he said he would have full-blown arguments, like dropping MFers here and there at the umpire while facing straight forward, looking at the pitcher, and nobody would be any the wiser. Nobody would know what's happening, and they'd be having full-blown, yelling arguments at each other without looking at each other.
The umpires don't care as long as, it's supposed to be, the umpires are going to let it slide. Not that they don't care. Obviously, no one wants to be talked to like that. But the umpires are going to be more prone to let it slide and not throw you out of the game. Because as soon as they do, they're now drawing attention to what was said about you. And now everyone's going to say, well, why was the guy arguing? And likely you're actually drawing more attention to your mistake as an umpire.
If you know an umpire's name, it's an issue.
Exactly.
And John, what's your 2 cents on it?
I mean, like Ben was saying, when did they get so soft? When you look back recent years, it feels like the warrant for getting thrown out is less and less and less. I mean, you saw a couple of years ago, JT getting thrown out because he just moved the glove away because he couldn't see. He doesn't have eyes on back. He just moved the glove away. Got thrown immediately. It was a spring training game, but got thrown out immediately.
I'm pretty sure that was Angel Hernandez, wasn't it?
It might have been. I don't remember who the I can't recall, but there's a good chance it might have been Angel. I'm not sure if it was. Probably. I don't know, but you have that, and then I don't know if you guys saw the whole Brewers series there with all the umps doing that stuff. I mean, you have these umps that are affecting games way more than they should.
I mean, we have CB Buckner just recently as the other day. You had that long rain delay in the White Sox game. And then the first batter back when the other team had bases loaded, where they had the winning or tying run. I don't remember which one it was, but they could have either tied or won the game in the bottom of the 10th inning, I believe. And as soon as that rain delay is done, first batter gets punched out to end the game on a pitch 6 inches out of the zone. Again, CB Buckner, you know his name. Angel Hernandez, you know his name. It's just
well, how about the rain delay in the Yankee game yesterday on Sunday?
Yeah.
That's atrocious. It was raining lighter. I understand the water was pooling on the field.
That was actually the second base umpire and is the one who called it. And he called it because
you could see him calling it as soon as that play ended.
Well, because the field became dangerous. Like AJ Hinch, apparently after the game, the way Aaron Boone put it was AJ Hinch wanted to get his players off the field because it was dangerous. Cleats were getting stuck in the mud. It was one of those, it wasn't downpouring, but it was creating such a horrid field condition where injuries were going to happen. Cleats got stuck in the mud. The field conditions were bad. Like they couldn't play.
Seventh inning, 8th inning. It was the 8th inning when they called it, right?
Yes.
At that point, just call the game.
They did.
I thought they resumed it, or they were delaying it.
They delayed it for 49 minutes and then decided to call.
What's the point of waiting that 49 minutes? Like, are those guys really getting back out on the field?
See, the teams don't have any control over that. Once the game starts, it's Major League Baseball's decision.
Which is what this is to a point on the umpires. Because why it doesn't make any sense of why
it's not the umpire's decision either. Regardless, that game ended up being, 7.5 innings of official baseball. Yankees sweep the Tigers. Good series after some disappointment in Baltimore. But it's just embarrassing with these umpires. What else is embarrassing? And Ben, I don't want to put you on the spot too much. It's Jeff McNeil and contract year Pete Alonso. Like, I have faith in Alonso. Alonso, big masher, looking for money. He's been
always a second half guy too.
Yes, but he's been lockstep with Aaron Judge as a rookie. Judge set the rookie record. Alonso one-upped him. Now, Judge in a contract year hit 62 home runs. It was going to be one of those, what is Pete Alonso going to do now to top that? And he's really hasn't done anything. And then Jeff McNeil, he's had horrible years, 3 out of the last 4 years. He won the batting title in 2022, but 21 last year and this year, at least now, his batting average is really low. He doesn't have the power to warrant a low batting average. I hear a lot of Met fans saying that they're done with him. What do you make of all that?
Look, Jeff McNeil, whenever he struggles, it's something that is always the same thing. He's pull happy. And, he gets pull happy when he's trying to hit the home runs. And, at the end of his batting title season, he was able to go deep a few times. And, or last season or in situations where, in 2023, where, you're not getting the production, you're trying to win games, you feel like you need to hit home runs. McNeil then presses, he tries to pull more. He's trying to hit for more power. He's trying to get those extra base hits when in reality, he needs to pepper the ball all over the field. And he'll still do that sometimes, but not as consistently as he likes to. Not to mention the fact pitchers have found ways to get him out. He hasn't been as patient as he usually is in the strike zone. And part of that is not feeling like you have the protection in the lineup. And that's because the Mets have not been hitting as a whole. Now, Pete Alonso, he has always been that second half kind of guy. So I'm not exactly too worried about him, to be honest with you. I don't see the Mets going anywhere this year. So if he has a down year, I still think Steve Cohen pays him, and it's more likely that he is going to stay because there isn't going to be another team that's going to pay more than the New York Mets, I think, even to begin with. You look at the Freddie Freeman contract, you look at the Matt Olson contracts. Freddie Freeman got less than $200 million. Matt Olson, I believe, is like right around 210 or 205, something around that range. So Pete Alonso, he's not getting more than $220 million from the Mets. Like you can't. He's older than Olson, and to be honest with you, he hasn't really had the same kind of success Olson has had in big moments. Pete Alonso had his opportunity in that wild card series to make a difference. That's a 3-game series. An offensive player can make a difference. He didn't. And you know what? Down the stretch of some of these years, Pete Alonso is a guy who, like Judge, can carry an offense. He hasn't. So what is warranting this kind of money? I understand the Braves lineup is stacked, but a guy like Matt Olson can carry a lineup and has proven he can carry a lineup in Oakland and not only and in Atlanta as well throughout that time. Not everyone's always clicking in that Atlanta lineup. And Matt Olson is a key person. I understand he strikes out a lot. Alonso strikes out a lot too. Alonso will have better batting averages, typically outside of like last year, than Matt Olson. But Matt Olson is at this point feeling like the more consistent power hitter, although he hasn't really had the greatest start to the season either, which is kind of why I feel the way I feel about the Braves right now.
Yeah, well put. Then another first baseman that's kind of young is Kyle Manzardo. He's getting called up. He's a Cleveland Guardians #2 prospect. He's somebody that really puts together that best of both worlds between Alonso and Olsen, where he's got the really good defense, great power hitter, who's going to hit for a decent average. He's somebody who he's going to look at those contracts, and in a couple of years, he's going to look to demand even more than that. So maybe Cleveland goes to try to lock him up like the Braves tend to do with a lot of their young guys. He's somebody I'm really excited to see. And hopefully he has a better start than Jackson Holliday, who still hasn't made his way back up.
I think he's struggling in AAA now too a little bit.
He is, yeah. Jackson
That
Holliday
typically tends to happen whenever a guy comes up too soon.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't think he came up too soon. I thought he should have made the opening day roster. I just think they're messing with his confidence.
I still stand by the thing that if he made the opening day roster, he would have did 10 times better.
Well, that's probably where the confidence hit happens.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's a service time manipulation, it's still going to mess with your confidence because you know in reality on a team that's meant to win now, you're not forfeiting games for service time. I don't care how cheap Baltimore is. They have new ownership that's supposed to be spending money.
They have one of the lowest salaries, I think, in all of baseball. Like as a team.
Exactly.
Look, the Mets, if the Mets didn't do that with Alonso, they would be in much like if they had done that or manipulated his service time by waiting 2 weeks. In the year they didn't make the playoffs anyway, so it didn't really matter. But they would be in a better spot having one more year of Alonso because
absolutely.
To be honest with you, the way he's playing right now, if he didn't pick it up, I do think they could command quite a prospect haul because a change of scenery, another team might feel like they could truly unlock MVP Alonso.
And I honestly, though, I don't think that's still off the table. I don't think it's likely. I don't think they should.
But it's not as nice of a haul.
No.
If you go full year of Alonso, but it is also very Alonso-like to say, look, if you're going to trade for me and you're a contender, I'm going to re-sign with you if you're going to pay me because that Alonso seems like a loyal guy. And if you want me, I'm there.
Right. I think that's absolutely correct in how Alonso would probably react. I also want to throw out there that the Tigers, they announced their City Connect uniforms. Not as cool as the Rays. And I think we're only down to a couple teams that don't have one. And let's see.
Ray is awesome.
Evan Longoria is what I've heard he's called.
Yeah.
That's very solid. I really like those uniforms. But let's get into our studs and duds. For me, my stud, Riley Green, in 6 games this past week, 9 hits, 2 doubles, 3 home runs. 4 RBIs, a little light there. But he's hitting .341 and a 1.332 OPS. Really great offensive stretch for the Tigers outfielder. My dud, fellow outfielder, and George Springer of the Blue Jays. 5 games, he's got 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, a lone ribby. He's hitting 136 with a .266 OPS. That's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, but, not ideal.
Yeah. Who's your stud and who's your dud, guys?
Well, for me, my stud, I'm going with the National League Player of the Week, right? This is a slam dunk, Shohei Ohtani. Haven't been on the show a lot so far this season, so I have to talk about Ohtani when I can. By the way, he had .524 this week, slugged .583 for a .952 OPS. No, I'm sorry, .952 slugging, .583 on base for a ridiculous OPS, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Absolutely unreal week. I do want to give an honorable mention to the AL Player of the Week, Brent Rooker. .438 average, also 7 RBIs and 3 home runs. So, you know, the guy's mashing. That was a 1.063 slugging for Rooker. So, unbelievable weeks for those two guys. My dud, Mets closer Edwin Diaz finally gets a save opportunity, and he blows it. Come on, Edwin.
My stud this week is going to be a rookie pitcher for the Pirates, Jared Jones. He's a 2.63 ERA on the year. Last week, he pitched to win 7 innings, 1 hit, 10 strikeouts, no walks, no runs. Didn't get the win, sadly, because he got no run support. But the Pirates did win the game late in the 9th. They, instead of getting a save, Bednar got the win. But, he's going to be a good pitcher. And, I mean, the Pirates are looking really good in the pitching department with Jared Jones and Paul Skeens coming up soon. I mean, they're going to be
when is Paul Skeens coming up?
Soon. I've been seeing soon. I'm seeing a lot of stuff soon.
Have you seen his stats?
He's an ERA under 1, right?
His ERA is under 0.5.
It's
or at least
crazy.
It was going into yesterday. I didn't see how he did.
0.49.
I mean, and it's like the Pirates are doing yesterday. Good and the Pirates are doing pretty good right now. And I mean, he's gonna be up sooner rather than later. I have him stashed in my fantasy team, just waiting.
You have to, right? This guy's gonna be a stud.
I think he's the real deal. And then
apparently they're saying here a day ago he's gonna make his debut in May.
It's
according to Bob Nightingale, so we'll see.
I mean, that seems credible, though. I mean, with how he's playing, I mean, like, you gotta.
They apparently May 10th against the Cubs.
I hope we'll see.
Yeah, apparently the GM was on 93.7, the Fan in Pittsburgh, saying that Skeens could be up as soon as May 10th against the Cubs.
Wow, that's gonna be a highly anticipated start there.
Skeens versus Pete Crow Armstrong.
Two guys he's off to a good start, but my dud is someone who's doing really bad. Corey's probably going to be happy about this dud because he's a Blue Jay player, Bo Bichette. He was 2 for 18 this past week, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. But I mean, last 7 games, batting like 115. He's just having a terrible season. He's been like 195, 1 home run, like 11 RBIs. Like, he's just not doing what you would think he would do for how good he's been in the past. Like, he's just bad.
Yeah, well, look, that's music to Corey's ears, but I do want to throw one more thing out here for Skeens because I finally have his stats pulled up. 0.78 ERA, a 0.87 WHIP, and 16 strikeouts per 9 innings in AAA.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's higher than his rate at LSU at 15.3 strikeouts per 9 innings, a 1.69 ERA, and a 7.50 WHIP.
So he's pitching against probably better competition
this May.
Pitching against better competition, and he's putting up better stats.
I mean, they got every single one of his pitchers graded 70 or above, I believe, for scouts. And, I mean, that's on the 80 scale, where 70 is well above average.
And while we're talking about minor league pitching and the downfall of the Blue Jays, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Alek Manoah. And he started in the Florida Complex League, right? He's the guy that said Garrett Cole would never win a Cy Young. He was all sticky stuff.
Him and Skeens actually just went up against each other in the minors.
Cole won a Cy Young, and Manoah can't fight his way out of a paper bag. He can't get out of the minors. He just went toe-to-toe with Skeens and actually pitched well. But in his most recent start, 2.2 innings pitched, 10 hits, 11 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs. He got shelled by a bunch of guys that are basically in below single A. And he's somebody who thinks that he should be on a major league roster. Give me a break. Manoah's an embarrassment.
Last year's Cy Young pick making me look better and better. Put that one right up there with the Rangers in August being buried, John.
You don't have a great track record.
No.
I've been rough lately, man.
Yeah, but you'll bounce back. But this is going to start a new segment for us.
The streak's got to end at some point.
Has to.
Well, give us some thoughts on this because our new segment, John's Prospect Corner. John's going to pick a division, give us some prospects, tell us what he thinks about them, and just gives us an insight into the minor leagues.
So
Take it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna start it off. I won't say what team he's on. I'll just give the name, see if you know it, and you can tell me the team, and then I'll say a little bit about him. So first guy up, Justin Crawford.
Justin Crawford.
Justin Crawford.
I don't
it's
know.
all NL East. This is NL East. So
this is Phillies, right?
It is Phillies. He's a Philly. He's a number 4. He's Philly's number 4th prospect on their team. He's
Is he
a
an outfielder?
4 kid, isn't he?
He's an outfielder.
He's got the outfielder type of name.
Yeah, he's an outfielder. He was their 17th pick in 2022 in the first round, 68th on MLB's top 100. He's 4th on Philly's 4th best prospect. He's ETA's 2026, and I think by then, Philly's outfielder probably have a spot for him. By that time,
who's gone?
You figure Marsh, right? Marsh is not a long-term guy.
Marsh, I can see Casty going.
Well, him and Schwarber will be no longer under contract by 2026.
Yeah, but I think they signed Schwarber again. They let Casty go.
Yeah, but I also believe I don't see Marsh being there long-term either. No.
I think once he's up, he might go. But right now, he's in high A. He's batting .286. He batted .332 last year. He has 47 stolen bases. He has really, really good speed. So, like, this can be, future leadoff hitter here, maybe.
Future Carl Crawford.
That's his. I think that's his dad,
that's
right?
His comp.
That's his dad, I think.
That's his dad?
Is it really? Yes, it is.
I think that's his dad.
Damn, I feel old.
I know that's his dad. I forgot to say that.
Carl Crawford.
Way to bury the lead, John.
I forgot. It slipped my mind.
Wow. I forgot his last name was Crawford when I said that. Yeah, seriously.
Next up is this little-known prospect, Cody Clemens of the Phillies.
Yeah, seriously, he's got wheels. I wonder why.
Yeah, he's fast.
Freaking Carl Crawford's son.
He's so fast, but I mean, he's so fast. 47 stolen bases. I mean,
get Daz Cameron on the Phillies too. Make it like the Blue Jays of the NL East.
Yeah. Now the next guy, you may know this next guy's brother. He's really good, really, really good.
Can I take a guess before you say it?
Sure.
You're gonna go Luis Angel Acuna.
You got it. You guessed it. He's Mets.
How's my guy Luis Angel doing, Johnny Boy?
He's at 200, isn't he?
I think he's batting He batted 294. I think he's batting 294.
Oh, I was close in the 200s
last year in single A. He's in Triple A now. I think he's only batting 215 in Triple A.
Okay, that's where I saw it. This year he's struggling at the plate a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is, they say he extends his zone a little bit too much. The scouting report, what I was reading, says that he needs to, tighten that zone up, and he can easily, hit 20 home runs easily. But he has good speed and stuff. Doesn't strike out a lot. Just extends the zone. His ETA, they have him up 2024, so sometime this year. He's shortstop, second base, but with Lindor at short, the Mets have been looking at him going to second base. Maybe they even looked him out in in the outfield a little bit. But he's their third best prospect. He's MLB's 58th ranked prospect on MLB's top 100. And he came over in the Scherzer trade from the Rangers. So, but this is a guy I don't know if he's gonna live up to be as good as his brother Ronald Acuna Jr., but I think he can be good. Ben, do you like him?
I like him. I think he was a good piece to get in the trade. And to be honest with you, I don't know exactly where he's going to fit in unless the Mets are planning to move off of Lindor before the end of that contract. Because obviously the plan is for Ronnie. Well, but the plan is for Ronnie Mauricio to be playing soon as well. So you have Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. You got to start letting some of these guys play because you have too many of them at this point to start figuring out who's going
where. The Dominican Winter League. Was it Mauricio that got
Mauricio?
Tommy John?
Yeah, that was Mauricio. He tore his ACL.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so he's not playing this year, but at the same time, the kid looked good when he came up, I thought. And his power has only continued to grow. An ACL injury is not something that's going to keep a baseball player down. It's just a year. It's not like Tommy John and a pitcher coming back.
No.
He's still super young. So, look, Mauricio, he's someone who I think is the future. But a guy like Acuna is also, really, really good to have.
So, but that's a good problem to have, though, when you have too many guys and you can't play them. I think that's a good problem to have.
Right.
But next name is Jose Perdomo.
Ooh, I think I know this one.
Nationals?
Ooh, no. Then your guess. Come on, we
50,
already did
50,
it's 50. We already did the Phillies. We did the Mets.
50-50.
It's the Braves.
It is the Braves.
Right?
It's the Braves.
He's the shortstop?
He's the shortstop that he was their international. He's an international signing prospect. They signed him. He's a shortstop. He's only 17 years old. Only 17. He's their seventh best prospect.
He still has braces.
Yeah. He still has braces.
I just looked him up after you said that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him. Holy crap. Yeah. He's wearing braces still.
But he's a good ball player. He's on MLB.
I thought you were going to say he's a good boy.
No. MLB pipeline top 50. Jesus, man. MLB pipeline top 50. He's number 3 on MLB's pipeline top 50. He's not in their not top 100. He's Braves' 7th best prospect. He was considered to be the best pure hitter in this year's international signing class. And he can probably be a very solid long-term shortstop in the league for years to come. He's in the Florida Complex League right now. Doesn't have any stats I can see on this prospect page, but his ETA 2029, so you probably won't see him for a while. But
yeah,
I think he's gonna be a name you're gonna hear a lot of in the future.
Well, look, the Braves have a different shortstop prospect who currently ranks higher. The best shortstop prospect in their system.
Yeah,
my boy Nacho Alvarez.
I was gonna pick him, but I saw Perdomo and I saw you 17.
Nacho Alvarez. That's gonna be up for name of the year.
That's a name. I almost picked him.
We're gonna see him as soon as next year, according to this ETA 2025.
Yeah,
which means you'll probably see him as a September call up, since that doesn't affect service time.
Yeah, you get a Nacho jersey.
Well, it doesn't say Nacho; it says Alvarez. So
just get Nacho.
You'll never catch me owning a Braves jersey.
Get a custom one.
John, would we catch you wearing a Braves jersey?
No, Braves top 3, one of my most hated teams of all sports. Behind Ohio State and the Cowboys. Behind Ohio State and the Cowboys, I dislike the Braves.
Rangers, Eagles, Braves.
Eagles, Red Sox, Astros, Penn State.
I got Ohio. It's Ohio State, Cowboys, and the Braves.
Eagles above all, though.
State.
I do not like Ohio State, but their fans are too obnoxious, like the Cowboys and Braves, though. But next prospect up, Brady House.
Brady House is the Nationals.
He is the Nationals because everyone knows Dylan Cruz, everyone knows James Woods. I thought there's the third best prospect. That's number 1 and 2 prospect. The third one is Brady House. He's number 43 on the top 100. He was their 11th overall pick in 2021, third baseman. He's in Double-A right now. His ETA is 2025. He's loud contact, raw power. He's batting .266 right now, but in high school, he threw a 96 mile per hour in high school. So this guy has an arm at third base. This guy's going to be a really good defensive asset for the Nationals when he comes up at third base. I mean, great arm. 96 miles per hour in high school. Sounds like he should have been a pitcher almost. Throwing that
especially
fast.
When you can do that without throwing off a mound.
Yeah. So, but he's throwing 96 mile per hour in high school. Crazy. But getting up to the next one here, we'll do quick. There's Noble, I think Meyer, and Process Nation. That's the Marlins. He's an easy one. I didn't really know. He's Marlins #1 prospect and stuff. I think his ETA thinks maybe sometime this year. I don't guess I didn't write it down. But he's their first prospect. He's the 50th top prospect, and I believe he's top 100. He was their 10th overall pick in 2023. I mean, last year he's in Single A right now, so he probably won't be up for a while. But he's in Single A right now. Last year he had a 4.04 ERA. This year is a 4.26 ERA. He just walks a lot. That's his big problem. He has 15 walks in 5 games this year. Like, if he, and I think that's part of the reason he has the high ERA. But he throws best pitch is a mid-80s slider with high spin. Then he has a fastball that goes 94, 97, tops out at 100, and a mid-80s changeup. But his biggest problem is he walks too much. But
remember the old Marlins prospects, Mesa and Mesa Jr.?
Mesa Jr.
You remember that?
I don't.
I remember him just from MLB The Show.
The Marlins had 2 guys, right? Hold on, let me fact check this so I can get you the exact info. Just because, like, when you talk Marlins prospects, so it was Victor Mesa and Victor Mesa.
That's what it was. Yeah, I remember. Victor.
They're brothers.
I couldn't figure the Victor part.
Victor Mesa Jr. and Victor Mesa. So, I don't believe either ended up being anything.
What?
No, clearly not. But.
Like, no. Victor is 27 years old, and I don't think he saw a single major league outing.
But I mean, the Marlins have a good track record of pitchers, though. Like, they seem to be very good at drafting pitchers and bringing them up to their system, though.
Well, Victor Mesa Jr. is in Double-A. He's not doing too terrible. He's hitting just about 300 this offseason. He's 22, so he's in Triple-A right now. So maybe we actually do see a Victor Mesa in there.
Maybe.
I like how the younger one is Victor Mesa Jr. and the older one is Victor Mesa.
Hey,
you see a lot. There's a lot.
Portal. Did you guys see who entered the transfer portal the other day?
No.
Who's that?
Oklahoma quarterback General Booty.
I saw that. Best name is what did they said? The best name in sports. But I think that's all I have for prospects this week.
All right,
let's
we'll see how well received this is. Hopefully, we have you back running this segment. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, that's a good one, John.
Yeah,
great work.
I had to do a little bit of research there.
Now let's get into some weekly series highlight where we're going to pick one series and kind of highlight it because it has some significance to the season. For me, that's got to be the Rangers at the A's. The A's shocking the world right now, being a good baseball team, going full major league. When everybody's trying to get you to lose so they can move cities, you decide to win. Miller's obviously...
Corey, what did I say last year about the A's? I was just a year off.
You said the A's were going to be good, and we thought you were crazy.
I said this is exactly what they do. Whenever they're supposed to be bad, they end up getting like 2 or 3 prospects that hit. They've got this pitcher who's unbelievable. They've got that Geloff kid can rake at second base.
Zach Geloff is good.
He's hurt now.
Whenever you can get a second. Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah.
He'll be back soon.
I love Lawrence Butler.
Yeah, they've got some young kids who can play, and there's no pressure right now, especially with you moving to Sacramento next season.
Yeah. It's just so funny. They got Mason Miller. He's obviously Rick Vaughn, the flame-throwing closer. It just lines up that they're going major league. So I think, because the A's took 2 out of 3 back in April, right? All teams are really close in this division because of the Astros' horrendous start. There's not a 20-game winner. Seattle's in first place. The A's, they can easily be in first place by the end of the week. And that's crazy to think about.
Especially because my weekly highlight's going to be the Mariners at the Athletics too. I mean,
synergy.
I mean, you got the Mariners are 19 and 15, Athletics 17 and 18. They're 2.5 games behind the Mariners, who are in first. So I mean, they very easily, take your series, take this series. They can be in first, no problem.
The Athletics are interesting.
That would shock the world being first. Who would have thought?
2 Athletic series picked in the same week. Didn't have that on my 2024 bingo card, but I guess the sky is falling. My series highlight.
Maybe the A's break into the top 10 for our weekly rankings.
Maybe.
They might.
Look, my series highlight is 2 teams we also did not expect to be having good seasons, but we've got the Brewers and the Royals. The Brewers, 20 wins. Royals, 20 wins. This is 2 20-win clubs going into May. Right now, game 1 of that series is already underway, but still, this is a good series with 2 teams. I mean, the Brewers right now, they look like the lock to win the Central at this point. They seem like the most consistent team you're going to see, even though, we talked about them last year in May when De La Cruz came up. But, the Reds are exciting. I don't see the consistency there just yet. The Brewers always consistent.
About the Cubs more than the Reds now.
I agree, and especially with the Cubs, they stole their manager in Craig Counsell. The young kids are playing. Bellinger came back. That was big. I agree. I picked the Cubs to win that division coming into this season, but the Brewers right now look like the most consistent pick, despite losing who was considered one of the better managers in the sport in Craig Counsell to the Cubs. So I think that's definitely a disadvantage, but I think there's a little bit of an edge for the players in Milwaukee there because of that. The manager was not fired. His contract was not up. They gave him permission to go talk to someone else because they were going to pay him more money. And they paid him an absurd amount of money to take him from you. As a player, that would definitely bother me.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. The Outside of Sports Baseball podcast. It's May. Time's going to get rolling before we know it. All-Star break. Going to have some midseason awards coming up in the next couple of weeks. See how that's going. But for John Pauline, Ben Mandel, Corey Jason, that's going to do it for us. Keep tuning in. Outsidersports.net for the rankings. YouTube, TikTok, just search up Outsider Sports. We'll be right there with you, bringing you some more great contact. Till next week, signing off.